Hi everyone, it's Carly. This is Tuesday's Zoo to You virtual safari here at Denver Zoo. I'm Carly McGuire. We have keeper Chris with us today, and we are in Toyota Elephant Passage featuring none other than Bandhu, our male greater one-horned rhino. So pretty much with every virtual safari we've done on greater one-horned rhinos, it's been with Tensing and baby Juna, and how could we resist featuring them as often as we do? She's perfect, Tensing's perfect. But every once in a while, we want to feature our resident male greater one-horned rhino, because he's just as special to us as well. And we want to talk about him and how we work with him and all the things that make Bandhu so great. So to help me do that is keeper Chris. So I'm going to flip it around. We're going to hopefully do a little bit of training with Bandhu, get to know him better. So when you come to Denver Zoo next time, you'll be able to pick him out and say hi. So hi, Chris.
Hi guys, welcome.
So there's Bandhu. He's being a little bit ornery today.
So yeah, Bandhu has been going through some changes, and they're good changes though. He's becoming an adult male. So in May he turned 12, and here he comes. Good job, B.
Here he's like, treats please. So let's take a look at that mouth, that prehensile lip.
Yep.
We love when we get to see that up close.
Good job. So what makes Bandhu's mouth so special is because he is a greater one-horned rhino, and these two lower incisors are actually used for fighting, and it's very specific to this species of rhino. So of course Bandhu is a greater one-horned rhino. They're the ones that look like they're armor plated, which is very unique. And these guys are found in India and Nepal, so that's why we actually call them the greater one-horned rhino, because it really is actually true. They only have this one horn.
And their horn is not like Rudy's. It's not very long and sharp, because it's not really used for fighting. Their teeth are.
Those teeth are. So that's why those teeth are so specialized. So those teeth they use for slashing, and Bandhu has what we like to call armor plating along that back rear, and that's actually where they're going up and they're fighting. That's where they're going to do their slashing. So you can take a look at his thickened neck skin folds. Same thing. All that thickened skin on Bandhu's body actually protects him in very, very crucial areas to a rhino's body with those thickened folds.
Because he's a male, does he have more thickened folds than a female would?
He has a little bit thicker.
A little bit thicker. Are there any other differences just besides the size? We can tell Bandhu's much larger than Tensing up close.
Yeah, so that's really typically it. Bandhu right now weighs just a little bit over 5,000, and Tensing is just around 3,980.
Oh, wow.
So she's dropped her pregnancy weight. We have a little bit more weight to lose with her, but Bandhu is definitely a big boy. The very top weight that you can get with greater one-horns is around 6,000 pounds.
Oh, wow. So we got some questions. Ashley wants to know, what are rhino horns made of?
So that's a great question. So rhino horn is actually made out of the same thing your fingernails and your hair is made of, which is keratin. So his horn is continually growing throughout his life, and this horn sits on a bony prominence on his face, on his skull. I worked with a black rhino early in my career that actually knocked their entire front horn off when they hit a wall during a very bad thunderstorm.
Ouch.
And that horn actually grew back.
Oh, wow. So yes, it will go back. And people always ask this with Tensing and Rudy, do we trim them? Absolutely not.
Nope.
This is shaped by Bandhu, and it's a good way to tell Bandhu and Tensing apart if Juna's not around, to give you a good clue.
Exactly.
Bandhu's is going to be a little taller, a little bit more horn shaped. Tensing's is much more dome shaped.
Yes.
Let's see, Sandy says she's going to weigh about 5,000 pounds after COVID. Trust me, Sandy, we all feel that way. You're not alone. Ashley wants to know, was he born here?
No, so Bandhu was actually born at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, and Bandhu came to us in 2012 when we opened up our new exhibit here, Toyota Elephant Passage, and it's hard to believe, but little Bandhu was only 2 when he came to us.
Only 2?
Yes.
He must have been so small.
Yes, he was a little Bandooty.
If you haven't noticed, there are some kind of white chalky spots along his face and his legs. That is a fly spray that we apply so that he can get some relief from all the buzzing flies. It is so hot here in Denver these last few weeks. It's just out of control, crazy with the flies, so we're just giving him whatever relief we can. Oh, Carol, I wish it would start raining here in Denver. It's too sunny right now. Hi, Hillary. We can't wait for you to bring your son here and see you here as well. We have a great zoo we want to share. So we're doing a little bit of training. So what are you doing?
So we're asking Bandhu to pick up the ball. It's just a fun behavior. Bandhu, where's the ball? Where's your ball? Where's your ball? Well, that's a back. That's good.
So we want Bandhu to pick up this bowl over here. He's not. I might be a factor in why he's behaving a little strangely.
Where's your ball? No. No? Okay, well, how about rock out?
So you'll see Chris is giving him some commands. These are gestures that correlate to a behavior we want Bandhu to do. But he's really, yes, he's listening, but he's way more into the camera.
Okay, so see, this is a great opportunity to discuss animals' choices. So Bandhu, with his maturing, so like I said, he turned 12, and typical sexual maturity for male greater one horns is around between 8 and 10. Bandhu was a little bit of a late bloomer. So typically, as they get bigger and mature, they start actually exhibiting some different behaviors. And we have noticed Bandhu has become more interested in tensing. He doesn't want to leave certain areas when he knows she's there. And then we had something really exciting happen last month when tensing went into her estrus cycle, and he actually roared for the first time. So if you've never heard a rhino roar, it does sound pretty prehistoric. And I was standing about 3 feet away from him, and I could actually feel it in my chest.
Wow.
It actually forecast across the exhibit. And he only did 2, but it was pretty impressive. And he was pretty proud of himself. He held his head high up, and then he trotted away. So it actually surprised him. You could tell he was like, oh, what did I do? And then he was like, oh, let me do it again. So why that's exciting for us, that means that Bandhu is actually finally ready to actually breed. And I'm sure you're all aware of Tensing and Joona's story, but Juna was actually conceived through artificial insemination, AI, because Bandhu was not ready yet. So that is exciting for Bandhu and us, because eventually Tensing and Bandhu will be put back together, and hopefully he'll get it. He'll get it right.
Yes, hopefully. So yeah, we have a whole long story on our YouTube channel, and we talked about it in every virtual safari we did with Tensing and Joona about why Bandhu is not the father. He just wasn't ready, but it sounds like he might be ready the next time Tensing is.
Yep.
So that's really exciting for us. He's going over into his wallow because we know greater one horns love water.
They do.
Maybe we can lure him back with the hose.
Yes, I'm gonna go get the hose.
So we're gonna follow Chris. Jeremy's wondering, what does Bandhu eat? We know hay.
So Bandhu eats about 50 pounds of hay a day, and he also gets about 8 pounds of a pellet every day that is specifically geared for rhinoceros. And then he also gets lots of treats like carrots and apples and bananas. We try not to give him anything too high in starch or a lot of sugar.
Oh, so this is just like your garden hose. He likes the water. This species is from India and Nepal. They love water.
Yep, so before we started, Bandhu is actually in one of our big pools out here. And he actually loves to spend, in the summer, he's spending about 18 hours a day in these pools.
Wow, I wish I could spend 18 hours a day in a pool. Hillary wants to know if you could use one word to describe Bandhu's personality, what would it be? Gosh.
Funny. He's a really funny rhino.
He's funny. Lala is 9. She says, hi, Chris. Thank you
Hi,
for all your
Lala.
hard work.
Thank you, Lala. Lala and I know each other. Lala was doing some she wanted to find out more about what it was like to be a zookeeper. And so we sent her some really cool postcards and talked about rhinos and stuff like that. So I always enjoy when Lala comes on and joins us for Facebook Live.
I know. I love when I see Lala's name pop up. She's so sweet. So Ashley wants to know, when would Tensing be ready for another baby? Technically, if she was in estrus, that means her body is ready for another baby.
That's right. So typically, it's usually 2 to 3 years of birth interval. So Juna would have to be, she needs to at least be about 3 before she's going to be actually ready to be out on her own, and that's in the wild too. So what we're doing now, right at this moment, is we're actually starting separation training with Tensing and Joona, and that's just simply putting them in 2 different stalls right next to each other where they have visual access to each other. And they're doing fantastic. And now we'll start putting in a little bit of a visual barrier. And Juna is actually doing that herself to an extent out in the yard. She is being much more independent and walking away from Tensing and kind of investigating on her own. So, and that's exactly what we want her to do.
Yeah. Ashley wants to know, can he sleep in the pool?
Absolutely.
It's shallow enough.
So if you do not see a rhino, especially in this big exhibit, which we call Yard 1, you need to look by these big rocks out in the middle. Bandhu is usually always by one of these rocks, and typically all you can see is his ears, because he will actually dunk his entire head under, and he'll sleep, and then he'll just come up for a breath of air and go back down.
He's so silly. Let's see. Ethan wants to know, what is their biggest threat?
So the biggest threat for this particular species of rhino is actually habitat loss. So basically, too many humans are moving into national parks and encroaching on the area that they naturally reside in. And also, they're coming in and they're clearing the natural vegetation, and they're putting in a plant we call palm oil. So palm oil is in 50% of what we either ingest or we actually put on our body. So we're not saying don't use palm oil, but there is sustainable palm oil that you can use. And so we always encourage people. We've teamed up with Cheyenne Mountain Zoo. They have a wonderful app that you can download to your phone. And you can literally scan an item in the grocery store and you can see whether it's sustainable or not.
Yeah. What an easy change to make sure you're doing your part to save species like Bandhu. He's saying hello. Hello. So that white chalky stuff on the side of his face, that's that fly spray.
That's fly, yep.
Just helps him keep a little more comfortable, because the way we wear bug spray for those mosquitoes, those flies get on them, big old horse flies, and it can be not comfortable. Even with that thick skin, it can still bother them.
Yep, especially towards the back of his legs here. That's really where we like to apply it. You guys would be amazed at how kind of tender that area is back there. And that's where the flies love to go to. So that's really why we always try to put a nice thick coating on that.
Speaking of the back of the leg, someone asked, do we do voluntary blood work with Bandhu, and where would we draw blood from an animal like this?
We do, and so that's exactly where we like to go for our blood draws. He has a nice medial vein that runs along the inside of both of those front legs. Or if you look at his ears right now, his veins are pretty popped out, and that's also another good area to draw blood from rhinos.
Yeah, so if we do that, it is entirely voluntary. Bandhu can leave at any time, as well as any of our animals that we do that type of work on.
Yep.
But with enough treats, and if he's in a good enough mood, he'll just stay still, won't he?
He will. Bandhu is probably not a great patient as far as that right now. He's kind of going through some remedial training, and that's fine.
Oh, you got
there. He
bucket
did his bowl behavior, so that's where we ask him, "Where's your bowl?" and he likes to pick it up and put it on his horn.
Oh, so he's wearing his bowl.
So we didn't teach him that behavior. Bandhu actually started doing this by himself, and we just captured it and put it on a cue.
Yeah, sometimes we can, if we notice an animal's doing a behavior, we'll do what we call a bridge, and we try to associate that with something. So then we can, it's just something we can train them to do. Maybe it's for treats, maybe it's for healthcare. But either way, sometimes we train animals to do behavior. Sometimes they show us a behavior that we then reverse engineer into training.
And a behavior like that is something simply also for mental stimulation. So we have quite a few behaviors like that that just keep their minds active and continually, thinking and problem solving.
Problem solving is very important to kind of that mental stimulation, animal wellness. Rhiannon wants to know, how often do they get a vet checkup? Is it yearly, more often?
So our rhinos are typically in very good health. We do checkups on them. These guys actually have blood panels drawn on them each quarter. So we all have them on a schedule, and then our rhinos also gets vaccinated every year. So Bandhu already went through all his vaccinations for this year, and he was very brave this year, which is very good. Sometimes he's not so brave, which
I don't blame him.
Understand. Nobody likes needles. But typically what we do is we line Bandhu up and we go right back behind his thickened skin up front, behind his elbow.
Let's see. Hi, Luke. His teeth are very sharp. They're incisors. Right. If we had treats, he might open his mouth, but he's not going to this second. But instead of horns for fighting like Rudy or Black Rhino, greater one-horn rhinos use those very sharp two front incisors to do their slashing.
Can you open?
So they have to be very sharp. There you go, Luke. I hope you can see them. They're very big.
Good boy.
And they look, the tips aren't like sharp looking the way like a tiger's or a lion's, but you can tell the sides are very sharp, like a knife.
Very sharp. I mean, they're probably razor sharp.
Woo.
Yeah, you wouldn't. That's why we are very, very careful when we hand feed these guys. This lip is very powerful. And, those are two very large, very sharp
there he's going showing his
that
teeth.
we don't want to get our hands caught in there.
Not at all. So I'm going to take our last little round of call for questions, whether it be about Bandhu, greater one horns in general. Yeah, Carlina, he is so smart. We have a lot of smart animals. Chris is really lucky she gets to work with some of the smartest we've got here. As a reminder, Bandhu is not Juna's dad, so they don't spend any time together. Has he caught glimpses of her kind of shifting from yard to yard?
He has, definitely. He's seen her actually face to face. The last time that Tensing was in Estrus, he was actually at 103 on the other side of that gate, and Tensing and Juna were on this side.
Oh.
So it was actually it was really funny to actually see Juna's expression when she saw him, because she was so very curious. And then Bandhu trying to act all big and tough for Tensing. It was pretty funny.
What would you say Bandhu's favorite food is?
Probably his most favorite food is probably a little biscuit we call monkey chow. He really, really loves that. And he can usually be persuaded to do some stuff.
Yeah. Lala wants to know, what would be the closest farm or domesticated animal to a rhino?
Great question. So it would be a horse.
A horse, Lala. Is that surprising to you? They just share a lot of those characteristics?
They do, and it's horses, rhinos, and tapirs.
Horses, rhinos, and tapirs. I bet you could find one of those around, Lala. And then, should we just give everyone a quick update on how Juna is?
Yeah, so Juna is doing fantastic. We weighed her last week, and she came in at 628 pounds. 628, she's so big. She's so big. The 22nd was 5 months old. I keep telling her every day she needs to stop growing.
Yeah.
We've waited so long for Juna, and just her growth is exponential. She is just like growing leaps and bounds every day. She's definitely becoming more independent and kind of she's always a very curious baby, but she's really getting more and more curious lately. We think she's actually getting some more teeth in because she's been doing a lot of mouthing on rubber tubs and stuff like that. So she's doing fantastic, and we love that little rhino.
We love her. We love all of our rhinos, but we really love Juna.
Really.
And we hope Bandhu can help us get another little Juna.
Yeah, I think he's raring for the opportunity.
I think he wants someone to get all excited about and have a little pride and joy of his own.
That's right. Doesn't mean he'll get it right the first time, but
we're gonna try. So while we were talking to Chris, he was kind of over here rubbing his horn on the pole, which is just one of the ways he can shape it. So last question from Kevin is, does he like the mud?
He loves the mud.
Loves
it.
In
fact, rhinos don't sweat, so water or mud is very necessary for them to actually cool their bodies off. So mud also is very important to keep those biting flies away. So yes, Bandhu, you're either going to find him in the mud, in the warmer weather, or in those pools.
Yes. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for the awesome questions. Thanks for tuning in. I'm so glad we got to feature Bandhu. We have 3 awesome greater one-horned rhinos here. So we're really happy to finally give Bandhu some of that spotlight. He has certainly earned it. But we'll definitely keep updating you on how Juna is and how Tensing is. They're exploring new yards, doing new stuff every day. So we hope you can come see all 3 of our awesome rhinos and come see Denver Zoo and say hi to us. So thanks, everyone. Thank you to Chris.
Bye, guys. Thanks for visiting.
All right. We'll see you next time. Bye, Bandhu.